desu. So today I'm gonna give you some drama recommendations, and I love detective dramas, and I love yakuza dramas, and I love arashi. So there's probably gonna be a lot of that, just so you know. But hopefully this will be somewhat helpful if you're new to Japanese dramas and don't know which ones are worth watching. In my humble opinion, these ones are worth watching. Okay, let's just jump into it. Tiger and Dragon. This is one of the first dramas that I ever watched, and I fell so hard for this one. It's about a yakuza member, aka Yamazaki Tora, aka Nazotoki, aka Bei, aka Weird Face Goals, aka possibly my favorite actor. Yeah. Also, really sorry I said Bei. It was ironic. I regret it. But also, who's Bei if not Nazotoki? Sorry. Anyway, so Nazotoki plays a yakuza member who wants to learn rakugo, which is like Japanese traditional comic storytelling type of deal. And Okada Junichi plays Ryuji, who is a son of a rakugo storyteller type of deal, but he doesn't want to tell stories. He wants to sell ugly clothes in Harajuku instead. So yeah, it is amazing. It's great. You get to know a lot about like Japanese culture and stuff like that through this manga. I remember that I really loved that because it was in the beginning, and I was like, oh my god, Japanese culture! So, yep. My Boss, My Hero. This is also one of my favorites. Nagase Tomiya plays a yakuza again, because that's what he does best. But this time he has to enroll in a high school to be able to become the leader of his gang, and so he's way too old to go to high school, but he goes to high school and he has to hide his identity, and it's very silly, very funny, and I recommend it. Unubore deka. Nagase Tomiya again. I promise not all of these are Nagase Tomiya. This is the last one, so just, yeah. In this one, Nagase Tomiya plays a detective who keeps falling in love with the suspects, and he always asks them to marry him, and they never do. It's very silly. It's also a lot of fun, so I recommend that one. Kazoku game. That was Japanese. I've talked about this one in an earlier video, best friend test with Cecile here. Well, in that video we talked a little bit about dramas, and I talked about Kazoku game because it's so special. It is very hard to explain. It's a remake of like the same drama in like the 80s. And now this time Sakura Show stars in it, so that's pretty much the reason I watched it. But it's actually a really good drama, so even if Sakura Show wasn't in it, I think I'd still like it because it's very special. It's about this family where Sakura Show plays Yamamoto Koya, who is a private tutor type of deal, and the family has a lot of problems, and Koya, Sakura Show, has a lot of problems, and like slowly it unravels. It's not a funny drama, it's very weird and you don't really know how to feel. It's very exciting, but like you think you know somebody and then it turns out they're not like that. It's just watch it. Nazotoki wa Dina no ato de. Sakura Show plays a butler to a rich heiress lady who's also a novice detective, and he ends up solving the cases because she talks about him and then he calls her stupid. It's a lot of fun. It's really good if you want some light entertainment. Moving on to Kekkon dekinai otoko. This one's about a 40-year-old bachelor who's a successful architect, but he can't marry because he's very weird. He's very socially weird, socially awkward, but like worse than that. That's why they call him Kekkon dekinai otoko, which means the guy that can't marry. Abe Hiroshi plays the 40-year-old bachelor, and I think he does a great job. I think he's really right for the part. And then, you know, in the end he meets a girl, blah 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 blah, the rest is history. But it's a cute drama and I like it. And it's a classic, I think. That's what I've been told. Thermae Romae, that's very hard to say, and I don't know how to say it in any other way than Japanese. This is also Abe Hiroshi. In this one he plays an architect again, but this time in ancient Rome. And one day when he goes to a bathhouse, he time travels to modern day Japan. It's a movie actually, but I included it too because I like it. What's funny is that because he's from ancient Rome, when he comes to Japan, you get to see Japanese culture kind of from an outside perspective, which is a lot of fun. So I recommend it. There's also a second one, a sequel. I don't know if I watched it, so I can't recommend that one. But number one is good. So yeah. Don Quixote. Another one of my favorite actors, Matsuda Shota, plays a guy who works at a child consultation center type of deal. And one day he meets a Yakuza, played by Takashi Katsumi, and they switch bodies. And it's just silly fun. It's a lot of fun. I really laughed. I really enjoyed it. Umi no ue no shinryoujou. That's very hard to say. It means clinic on the sea. Yes, clinic on the sea. Matsuda Shota again plays a doctor who works on a boat, and they go round and around to different islands. And then when he comes to an island, he inevitably falls in love with a woman, and he tries his hardest to cure her and everything, but he always gets dumped, and then they move on to the next island. I liked it. I don't really remember it because it was a long time ago, but I remember I liked it. Meitantei no okite. What's funny about this one is that it's a detective drama, but they play a lot with like the different cliches that you see in detective dramas, and they're kind of breaking the fourth wall, and I think that's a lot of fun, so I recommend it. I've watched so many dramas that I didn't really know where to begin, and I have a lot more dramas that I like. So if you're interested, I have put a link to my drama list account, list type of deal. You should make an account too. Maybe we could be friends. Oh, that sounded pathetic. Great. But yeah. I also recommend you to make an account on mydramalist.com because you can keep track of the dramas that you've watched and stuff like that and give it a rating or whatever. I really like it. Also, the list of all the dramas that I talked about today are down in this description too. Check that out if you want. So, that was my drama recommendations. Thanks for watching. Click here if you want to watch my latest video. Click here if you want to subscribe to my channel, which would be so good. It would be great. We could have so much fun. That was weird. タルでした。バイバイ。